So my new Rockshox Zeb finally came, and most of you are probably surprised that I chose this fork. I did a poll last week, and only 20% of you chose Rockshox. Most of you thought I was going with Fox or Marzoki. Anyway, the Zeb is the all-new Enduro fork from Rockshox, and I'll go over all you need to know today. We'll start with an overview of why I got it and what you get in the package, then move on to how it handles on all terrain. At the end, I'll give it my final thoughts. First, let me list all the options that are competitors. What most of you thought I was getting is the Fox 38, which is very similar to the Zeb. It has the same stanchion diameter and is very adjustable too. The Fox is just a bit more expensive. There's also the Marzoki Bomber. I didn't want this because even though it is basically Fox, it's way simpler and I can't fine-tune it as much as the Zeb or 38. A lot of people have been buying this recently and they all seem to like it, but it's just not my thing. The Rockshox Lyric Ultimate is the last option, and I would have probably chose that if the Zeb didn't release. They're very similar forks when it comes to performance, but for only $50 more, the Zeb comes with bigger stanchions, a better damper, and it's stiffer. In my opinion, this fixes every problem the Lyric had. I still decided to pay the extra money for these changes. Now, onto the review of the Zeb Ultimate. This new fork costs $1,000 without tax, and it's an amazing deal for the price. I don't regret the decision of buying it at all. Let's start off with the stanchions, which is the biggest change Rockshox made to this fork from the Lyric. While that fork uses 35mm stanchions, the Zeb uses 38mm stanchions. That bigger stanchion diameter is meant to increase the fork's stiffness. Now I've tried the Lyric and Yari, and the Zeb is by far the stiffest. Rockshox says the Zeb is about 20% more torsionally stiff than a comparable Lyric model, about 7% stiffer laterally, and is about 2% stiffer fore and aft. Torsional stiffness is the twisting movement of the fork, and that's the main update. The lateral stiffness, which is side to side, is 7% stiffer and didn't make a big difference. I barely noticed it over the Lyric and Yari. Finally, the fore and aft stiffness is 2% stiffer, and it's basically no difference. All of this is achieved by the larger stanchion diameter, and it helps make the fork more stable through rough terrain with lots of pressure on the fork. This also makes it more stable through high speeds. This fork is the ultimate version, meaning it uses the Charger 2.1 RC2 damper. This is also used on the Zeb Select Plus and Lyric Ultimate. Though there isn't a new damper designed specifically for the Zeb, it's a big upgrade over the motion control on the Yari, or the standard Charger on the lower end Lyric. It has independent high and low speed compression along with rebound. If you didn't know, the compression is how fast the fork compresses into its travel and controls the progression of the fork. The rebound is how fast the fork returns to its normal position. This is a great adjustment to have, especially when the terrain changes, such as when riding a bike park with tech and flow. You can see the rebound adjuster under the right fork lower. It's this big red knob. The Rockshox Zeb also has improved seals. These new ones are supposed to last longer than anything previous and be more durable to impact. Another feature I want to talk about is the Maxima Plush Damper Fluid. This reduces friction of the fork and provides a silent and smoother feel over their other forks. It's way more advanced than the Yari, that's for sure. The Zeb also sells in multiple colors. There's the gloss black, which is what I have here, the slab gray right here, and the standard black. These are all the features of the new Rockshox Zeb, so let's dive into my first impressions. The very first thing I noticed right out of the box, and it's the weight difference. On the first few jumps I hit, I could even feel how much lighter the fork is over the Yari. This led me to tail diving slightly, but eventually I got used to it. Now I also noticed the stiffness and how the larger stanchion diameter has made a difference. Rockshox really nailed it with this update, and it's noticeably better. This was my very first run with the Zeb, and I took it down Paramount. This trail has a bit of everything, so let's check out my initial thoughts. Okay, so this is Paramount. Let's see how this fork handles. Nice and smooth off the drop. Just super smooth in landings. That step down, I think I cased it a lot, and it's the smoothest it's ever felt. Yeah, this thing can really pop, and it's super stiff too. Now, let's test this on Rattlesnake, which is a great tech trail at Mount Bachelor in Oregon. So we're on Rattlesnake right now. And I'm testing out this new fork. I can definitely feel it being more stiff than my previous fork. Especially going over this steep and fast stuff. It's super plush and does a great job absorbing all of the impacts that this takes. And I feel like I can go a lot faster and stay comfortable on it. It just feels really nice. Also love how the damper is set up. It's a lot better because you have a lot more range of adjustment, right? So I pretty much have this fork dialed in by now, and it feels very nice. So after testing it for a few weeks now, I can still agree with all of these claims about the Zeb. I'm very impressed with this new design. Since I've had this fork for a while now, I'm definitely used to it, and I have nothing to complain about it at all. Rockshox truly killed it with this new fork, and it's more stiff, more plush, and more adjustable than any other fork before. That's it for this week's video, so I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, you'll see a review of Mount Bachelor. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.